So this country is a complete. So here they tried to scam me even before I left the airport. We sold for 2 million of cargo there and it didn't go well. I've been in the commodity game my entire career. I've traveled to almost 100 countries and shipped products to and from 50 plus countries. So I think I have a pretty good grasp about what is happening in the world. And oh boy, it's completely different about what they tell you. So in this video, I'm going to spin this globe and randomly choose a country and then let you know my experience with that country, what I traded, the experience to work with that country, and any other like funny story. All right, and one last thing before we start, I'm going to be honest in this video. And I know that in today's world, I mean, it's not allowed to be honest. Maybe this video won't be there tomorrow. So watch it to the end, so at least you can get a chance to see it fully. And yeah, let's see what happened. Maybe I should have directly called this video white privileged boy insult all countries in the world or something like this. Anyway, all right, let's get this started. Mongolia, right. I haven't done anything in Mongolia, so I don't know. Russia. I did trade a bunch of stuff with Russia. I mean, the experience was not that bad. I mean, obviously, it's a country with low trust, so you need to be extremely careful when you send money, especially if you do prepayment or stuff like that. Man, don't. But actually, people there were quite straightforward and it was quite easy to do business. And I spoke with a bunch of people that were very high-level professionals. So actually, it was not that bad. So obviously now, most of the product out of Russia are sanctioned. So yeah, I don't do any stuff with them, but obviously it will reopen again. And as Russia is one of the biggest commodity exporter, I can tell you that as soon as the war is over, all the sanctions will be lifted and then the product will be flowing again freely. Again. Yeah, all right. You know what? I think spinning the globe doesn't really work, so let's just go through all the countries. Let's start with North America. So Canada, I've never done work with Canada. Obviously, I went to east side and west side of Canada. Nice country, communist people now, but still, I think, yeah, nothing to say about Canada. USA, so surprisingly, I haven't really done any work with the US. I think we shipped, one of my very first deal actually, 15 years ago. When I was an employee, we bought milk powder from a USA. I think the brand was Dairy America, and we ship it to Pakistan. What is funny is like, you know, Pakistan, they don't usually really like the US, but they love their brand, Dairy USA. So we were able to sell it at a premium. And I remember this deal went extremely wrong. I did a lot of mistakes. The company lost money because of that. I mean, that's one of my first deals, but I was not a good experience. But you know, usually the US, they are not really good in terms of international trading, even though they have some, like Cargill from the US. I mean, they have some big companies that are from the US, but I mean, the mentality, they don't really get the outside world, honestly. And obviously, when I said that, I speak about like 80% of the people. There's still 300 million people, and a few of them are extremely clever and understand everything. But still, usually, this is the same with all those like big countries. The country is so huge that they don't really care about what is happening outside. I mean, obviously, I speak for the population. I need one thing is, man, when I speak about a country, please, guys, don't be low IQ. Obviously, there's two different things here. There's the people of that country, and there's the government of that country. And usually, they don't really have the same view about the rest of the world. I mean, you could argue that if this is a democracy, it should be the same, but we all know that most of the democracy is basically just a system with few parties that have 90% of the same view on everything. So is it really a democracy? I don't know. Man, you know what? Back in the day, in Athens, when the Greek, when they started democracy, as they said, when the Athenians voted to go, start a war or something like this, they were the one that was going to fight there. They were not like sending other people's sons to fight. They were the one that was going to fight. So this is real direct democracy. Huh? It's really easy to send someone else's son to go to fight when it doesn't affect you. Anyway, so yeah, so please have that in mind. Government, people, two different things. All right, and then in the rest of the South America, honestly, I haven't really done a lot of work there. Because first of all, I don't speak Spanish, so I don't really have like an edge. But actually, I did work with Argentina, Uruguay, Bolivia. I mean, that was okay, man. People were quite professional, and it was not that difficult to work with them. We did few shipment, also a few shipment from Brazil. So yeah, actually, I did work with a bunch of countries there, but I'm not really specialized. And now I spend most of my time in Asia. Then the time zone doesn't really work, man. It's too difficult to do it, man, with 12 hours difference. So this is why I'm more focused in Europe, Africa, Asia now, because just the time zone are way better. All right. Now let's speak about Europe. So Europe, I think I've done business in almost all European countries. And what can I say? All right, there's like a line. You know, if you can cross a line through Europe, everything below Switzerland, man, people don't pay. They are extremely slow to pay. I remember we had one deal with a client in Spain. The guy, like, I've never seen someone that came up with so much rules to pay that late. They were like, oh yes, we only pay on the 15th of each month. I'm like, all right, yeah, the cargo arrived on the 17th. How convenient is it that you only pay on the 15th? And obviously they forgot and then so on. No, I mean, such bad payers, but you know, it's quite easy for me to work with any other European country because the culture is quite the same. You kind of know what to expect. But honestly, man, if you work with people in the north, I don't know, Denmark, UK, Scandinavian, Belgium, and so on, usually it's quite easy to work with them. They are quite trustworthy, so it's just easier to do business with high trust culture, honestly. Even though I would say that the culture is degrading everywhere in Europe now. And another point that makes it easy to work in Europe is most of the time there's like credit insurance on the company, so you can give them 30 days to pay, or you can even factor the payment, so it's safer, definitely. Obviously now I spend more time, now that I have this company in Gamba Energy with my partner in Romania, we spend more time in Southeast Europe, so there it's a bit different. I mean, a lot of countries are not within the EU, like, I don't know, Serbia, Moldova, countries like this. So there, you need to be obviously way more careful. A lot of mafia stuff, you know, politician mafia, you don't really know which one is it. Is there really a difference? I'm not really sure. Actually, yeah, that's I would say one of the easiest blocks to do business with is Europe, honestly. All right, let's go to Africa. So here, I have a lot to say because I've done a lot. Let's start with Egypt. So Egypt, it's a huge country. There's a lot of people very wealthy, especially in the one that import commodities. You will have to deal with the army, most probably. Be careful. Don't give them credit, and you should be fine. Also, if you buy from them, make sure that the quality is okay. But otherwise, it's kind of okay to work with Egypt. Libya, so Libya, I've never really dealt directly with Libya. One of my former boss was extremely big in Libya. He knew a lot of people there, and he was even like in the hotel 1 week before the hotel got blasted by a rocket during the war. So yeah, knew a lot of people there, but I have never dealt with Libyan company. Tunisia, yeah, never done business with the country. I think I did ship like 1 container of milk powder in Tunisia, but nothing not to share. Algeria, Algeria. So I used to work for a company that had a big market in Algeria. So and I was an operator there. I've met incredible entrepreneurs, incredible people from Algeria, trustworthy, you know, very smart and so on. But I've also met, like, oh man, what I don't like with culture that have this ego, like, you know, a very big ego, is like they will use this ego as a shield against attacks. For instance, we had a case. I mean, I remember it was yesterday, even though it was 15 years ago. One customer came, it's like, I had to pay demurrage because the container stayed at the port. It's your fault. You should have told me earlier. Okay, so my boss called me. It's like, hey, Damien, what is going on? I was the one in charge of the shipment. And I was like, yeah, but I mean, we sent the document on time. I notified him by email. I even called his team to say that the document should be there. And this is basically the guy's fault. He didn't pick up the document fast enough. I guess he did not have the money to pick it up because it was a CAD. And yeah, so I showed to my boss, look, like 4 emails that says that the cargo is arriving. So what do you want me to do? And my boss said, okay, all right. And then she called the guy and I was there, you know, she put me on speakers and so on. And my boss was like, there is 1 email on this date, 1 email on this date, 1 email on this date. And the day before, Damien called your team to speak about that and that. So, you know, she was an extraordinary woman. She would like put all the arguments to say, look, man, we understand what you are doing. You try to get a discount for the marriage, but man, so it's not happening. But anyway, she said all of that. And then the guy said, yeah, okay, but you know what? You should have insisted more. Yeah, come on, man. And you will see a lot in culture that have like huge ego. People will use their ego as a shield against all criticism, and which is not really nice actually when you want to do business, because sometimes mistakes happen, especially in international trade. So don't use your ego to, put all your behind it. Okay, Morocco. So here again, we did ship a bunch of butter to Morocco. I don't know if it's still a huge market for butter. Big block of 25 kgs of butter. Another story about Morocco. So I was like quite a young trader, and a guy called me at the office, I think out of the blue, say, look, I'm this guy from Morocco, we are looking to buy butter and so on. And the guy, I mean, I discussed with the guy, I was like, yeah, I mean, obviously the guy know the market, you know, he spoke about all the players of the market, he knew about the price and so on. He said, yeah, I would like to buy from you, blah, blah, blah. So we discussed. And then the guy called me again, I sent him some price, a bit of back and forth. And then I explained that to my boss, and she was like, and something is not right. The guy obviously knows all the players. Why would he want to buy from us? I mean, it makes no sense, Damien. I was like, okay, maybe he wants to extend his credit. I don't know. But she had a point, you know. But at the time, I wasn't experienced enough to see what was going on. And she kept telling me, yeah, this story makes no sense. Speak with a guy, blah, blah, blah. We did our own due diligence, did a bunch of research. And then we couldn't really find anything on the guy that was like dirt or something like this. He was known in the market for butter, so 2 lakhs. Everything was fine and we could make a deal with him. And also butter is extremely expensive. So a few containers of butter cost a lot, it's in reefer and so on. And I remember my boss, she said, yeah, but why would the guy call us? We are a small company, we are not even present in Morocco. There's something that doesn't make sense. Let me call some people in the market. She called another trader and the guy said, oh, that son of a bitch. Of course we know him. I mean, we have a multi-million claim with that guy. He did that. And the guy was a crook. He was a crook. So basically my boss said, no way, we don't really deal with him. And I was like, yeah, okay, all right. Funny enough, so then I moved to another company. And my boss at that new company was the one that dealt with that guy in Morocco with multi-million dollars claim. And he told me the full story, man. That's not a nice story, man. This is an awful story. And I think one people still went to jail, but it was like the gardener or something like this of the guy, because they changed the name of the administrator on the document when all that went on, and they put the name of the gardener. Finally, the gardener went to jail, and then they paid the family of the gardener just, I don't know what, every month, just for him to be in jail instead of the crooksman. What a f***ed up story, man. But anyhow, that being said, it's quite easy to do business in Morocco, honestly. People usually are quite business-minded. It's quite easy to deal with them. They understand well, usually the requirement of international market. So that story being said, usually it's quite easy. And Casablanca is a really cool city. People go to Marrakech like for tourism and so on. I think Marrakech is, yeah, I don't know. It's a bit a rip-off for tourists, but Casablanca, a lot of cool stuff to do. All right, below Morocco, we have Mauritania. So Mauritania, I did a bunch of business in Mauritania. I mean, the country is like a big desert, you know, there is like no real city, there's like 2 big cities, Nouakchott and what is the name of the other city? Nouadhibou, yeah. Nouakchott and Nouadhibou in the south. Yeah, very, I mean, I have a lot of stories with Mauritania. I mean, I think I spoke about one of them in my last video. It's like, we had a payment in Mauritania. I mean, someone had to pay us, and I think the payment was withheld by the National Bank for like 2 months because the country didn't have enough euro or US dollar to pay. So basically the country was out of international currency. So the guy, so our client paid us, but it took 2 months to get the SWIFT, and it was a small amount because it was so difficult to get international currency. All right, Senegal. I love that country. I had a company in that country. My business partner there stole all the money from me, but yeah, it happens. But I love that country. This country is safe. People are very nice. And seriously, I think it was my biggest country in terms of sales when I was a dairy trader. So spent a lot of time there. I mean, I really like Senegal, man. I don't know what to say, man. It's a nice country. Then in Senegal, we have the Gambia. So Gambia, I think I did 1 or 2 shipments there, but it was through Senegalese clients, so I don't really know. Conakry, Guinea. I did a bunch of shipments in Conakry. Again, I think we had some payment issue with the local currency, but that was not that bad. The thing in Conakry, I remember, there is no credit insurance on companies, so then you have to ask for prepayment. Some people like give cash against document with no prepayment, and then they get so don't do that. But Conakry, that's okay, man. I think Conakry, what is funny is like one of the family owned like 80% of the GDP, like some Indian, I don't remember. But they were my client, like Topaz Group, I think. Anyway, Sierra Leone, Liberia, I've not done anything there, I don't know. Côte d'Ivoire, big country, done a lot of business. One funny thing I don't know if it's funny, but in Côte d'Ivoire, I think all my buyers were Lebanese. So you see a lot of Lebanese in all West Africa, but in Côte d'Ivoire, it was like way more prominent than in any other countries. Oh, I got a massive, it's not true actually. I had few African buyers in Côte d'Ivoire. I remember one of them, I had a huge stomach bug. We went to eat like Lebanese food in the best Lebanese restaurant, and I had a huge stomach intoxication after that. So I threw up all night, and then I had to get up, put my suit, see some clients. I was like whiter than this wall. I felt so bad. It was awful. I think I even puked like 2 meters before entering into my client office. I mean, that was such... anyway, but yeah, Côte d'Ivoire, again, a bit more dangerous than the other countries, but that's okay. Burkina Faso, yeah, I got a client in Burkina Faso. If you get my emails from the Shipping Community Academy, there is this story with this client in Burkina Faso that prepay 20%, so we ship the product, and then he did not have the money to pay for the 80%. What the f*** are you doing? Anyway, Mali, we shipped a bunch there. Niger, the same, we shipped a bunch. Very, very poor country, man. Togo, Benin, Ghana. So all those 3 countries, so Ghana, they don't speak French. I don't think I've never done anything with Ghana, but Togo, Benin, yes, a bunch. We shipped a bunch of milk powder there. And one funny story, man, I had a visa to go to Togo, and I remember my visa was 1 entry only, all right? And then we went to Benin by car, with one client, he drove me to Benin. And then when we went back, I was like, man, my visa was 1 only entry. I cannot get in again in Togo. And in Togo, I had all my stuff, because all my stuff was in the hotel. So I was just like, yeah, I had nothing on me. It was just a one-way, a small trip to go to Benin and then go back to Togo. And how are we going to do that? And then I remember I was with a guy called Amadouba, really nice guy. And he told me, yeah, and you know what? Like 2 months ago, they fired everyone from the custom point because they were getting like too much bribe, whatever. So they put all new people. So it's going to be tough. We will not really be able to bribe them. I was like, for you to get in. I was like, man, I was like so stressed. And he said to me, like, look, damn it, but maybe I can put you in the boot of the car, and then we can cross the border. And I was like, man, dude, this is an awful idea. He's like, imagine if they like arrest the car, they open the booth, and then they saw me, like the only white guy with a suit, like for 200 kilometers around, in the boot of a car, man. You will end up in jail, man. Wait. This is not a good idea, man. He was like, yeah, you're right. Anyhow, but then I did manage to cross, but it was a stressful moment. Then we can carry on. Nigeria, did a bunch of business in Nigeria. Huge country, but very difficult actually to manage. I think the importer in Nigeria, they have a lot of trouble with the custom, with everything. It's tough to work with Nigeria. And actually, you can check the stat. If you look at the rice import on Benin is the country next to Nigeria. I think the rice in Benin is one of the biggest importer of rice in the world, which makes no sense because they have a small population. Because everything then is smuggled to Nigeria. Anyway, Cameroon, very difficult country to work, man. I think in West Africa, Cameroon is one of the most difficult to work. And I speak French, they speak French. I know a lot of people from Cameroon. One of the girls that we hired at one of my first company, she was a Swiss and Cameroonese. And even her now, she works in a big trading firm. I mean, we still have good contact. But even her, I called her like a few months ago. I said like, well, so what are you doing with Cameroon right now? And she said like, no. Well, it doesn't work. And I think her father is still an importer in Cameroon, so they know everything how it works, but too difficult. The level of corruption is so high. Everything is difficult in Cameroon. Everything. And it's a shame, people are very nice, but the country, yeah. I don't see how it could go well, man. It's so difficult. Then we have Gabon. So below Cameroon, we have Gabon. Gabon, I had one customer. Very nice guy. Very easy to work with. Extremely slow. Like to answer, to do everything. The guy was extremely slow, but still, very nice guy, man. Nothing bad to say about Gabon. Gabon is like basically a big forest. Congo, Pointe-Noire, never done anything in Congo. DRC, so Democratic Republic of Congo. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I had like some business in DRC. Man, it went completely to complete. This is so difficult to work with. I'm very pessimistic about the future of DRC. It's, the level of theft, scammed, everyone tried to steal from each other. A government is the worst. I really don't know how to make it work. I think in DRC you can make it work if you're a big company, you have a lot of money, and then you have people very high in the government that protect you from the local that would work, or you do like everything illegal like all the other guys. But if you want to have like a small, medium business there, I think it's very, very difficult, man. I know a lot of people that do a lot of business in DRC, man. Obviously, it's a huge country, a huge copper exporter. They have a lot of metals and minerals, but very, very difficult to do business with. So we lost a lot of money. Yeah, that's tough one. Again, I'm also not really optimistic for the state of DRC because this is one of the biggest copper exporter, and if we are going to a more electric world in the next 50 to 100 years, the Americans, they won't be able to let DRC in the end of the Chinese. I mean, the region is very unstable, so yeah. Not nice. Angola, so never done any business in Angola, but there's a big interview with Thomas Rice from Yagi Rice that import and export from Angola. So watch this interview after if you want. Namibia. Big fan of Namibia. We had some copper deals, some copper mining deals in Namibia. I think one of my very first videos is me going to Namibia to visit a copper mine. I love Namibia. I think I'm very bullish on that country. That country goes well. It kind of works. People are not that slow. And I think Namibia, I mean, props to Namibia. Love it. South Africa. Yeah, South Africa. Again, if you've been following my channel, you know that I have a company in South Africa. We do Chrome there. We have a good team. But South Africa, I mean, I'm also a bit worried about the futures. I mean, the racial tension in South Africa are very high between the Afrikaners, the black. I think it could go wrong, like very, very fast. Yeah, it's not really optimistic, but yeah, man, I told you I was going to be honest. But yeah, South Africa, I should be there again before the end of the year. But yeah, man, when I'm there, I always love it. But it's true that there are some problems. Zimbabwe, so Zimbabwe, we work with Zimbabwe, we buy chrome there also, export through Mozambique to the port of Beira. Zambia, we had some deals in Zambia in the past with the scrap business that we had in DRC. We also had some scrap collection in Zambia. Zambia works way better than DRC for sure, that Congo. If you don't do anything in mining, Zambia, I don't know why you would go there. A lot of Chinese. And then yeah, man, it start to be a long video, man. So Africa, I know very well. West Africa, the French part, English part. East Africa, I know less, even though I dealt with a bunch of countries there. So let's move on. Let's go to Middle East. So Middle East, Turkey, very big country in terms of commodity. They are obviously in an extremely important place between Europe and Asia. A lot of things goes in through Turkey. If you know a little bit, the local currency is completely depressed. This is a shame, but a lot of industrial buyers in Turkey. So it's a very, very interesting country in terms of commodity. We have a lot of business deal from Turkey. Obviously, if we have a company in Romania, it's next to Turkey, so we do a lot of things there. Be careful with small companies and so on. They are not the most trustworthy. But still, I think that it's not that bad, man, honestly, to do business in Turkey. Yeah, you need to pay attention, but it's not that bad, seriously. Then Syria, Iraq, Lebanon, never really done anything in that part of the world. Yeah, I think the company I worked with had some stuff in Jordan and Syria also, but yeah, don't really know. Saudi Arabia, the same. I think we did I think I sold a few containers of milk powder back in the day to Saudi Arabia. I mean, nothing specific to say about that. Obviously, here in the Middle East, if you deal with commodity, the big one is UAE, where all the trading firms are relocating. I think the move has a little bit slowed down, but still, it's going to be a hub for a long time. Unless they do something and the US say, you cannot do this or do that. Yeah, I think UAE will remain a hub for quite a long time. Then in this other part of the world, like I did a bunch of business with Pakistan, India, Bangladesh. Bangladesh, man, 250 million, such a small country, very difficult country to navigate. I remember I was the operator and we got letter of credit from Bangladesh. And oh man, it was so complex. There were like so many things that didn't go well. It was so difficult to get the amendment from Bangladesh. That was a nightmare. I spent hours and hours on those LC, making sure that everything is right. And then you need to have the labeling correct. You need to have everything perfect to get the LC cashed without discrepancy. But that was a real battle. So Bangladesh, again, very difficult country to navigate, but still, man, this is a huge population. It's such a small country. They have a lot of need. They need to import everything. So tough one. Pakistan, as I said at the beginning of this video, one of my first deals was in Karachi with one guy called Furkan. I remember Furkan. Sold the milk powder to him. Then we sold a bunch of things to the guy. Actually, it was okay to work with them. They always wanted that we do cash against documents, no prepayment. We always said no. But yeah, I mean, that was not that bad actually. And now one of the kids that helped me with the neo-finisher community is from Pakistan. Bright kid and so on. Again, also very populous country, like 250 million people. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I have nothing bad to say about Pakistan. India, okay, or a big country, India, 1.5 billion people at the time of recording this video. I mean, that's going to be a superpower. I know that this is not what China wants. I mean, just by the numbers of people, there's like so many smart, educated Indian people. Again, this country not easy to navigate. You need to be there. You need to understand. North India is not the same as South India. But I've met a lot of great people from India. Also a lot of thieves. But yeah, man, that's a huge country. You will find everything in India. But man, I'm really looking forward to do more business with India. We have one of our guys there. Right now, we are one partner in India, and we're starting to have a new trade flow of scrap to India. I'm sure this business will get bigger the next couple of years. So I'm very bullish on India, especially in terms of commodity. That's going to be a big player. I mean, it's already a big player. All right, now let's speak about Asia. So Asia, I'm recording this video from Asia. I spent most of my time there. I think people don't understand the quality of life that you can have in those Southeast Asian cities, where I think the quality of life is way better than Europe. They are doing something well. So what can I say? Like Cambodia, so one of my good friends is from half Cambodian, so we went there for a bunch of cashew nut deals that we were trying to put together. Again, it's not really difficult to work with them. Yeah, they're just a bit slow, they lie a little bit, you know, but like everyone, so it's not like some big red flag. Thailand, I mean, the same. Thailand was quite easy actually to work with. All the Thai company that I work with, it was quite easy. Yeah, and nothing bad to say about Thailand. Vietnam, again, also the same. Quite easy to work with Vietnam. Obviously, be careful, don't believe everything that they said, and so on. That's just stable stake, but man, usually it's quite easy to work with them. Then Malaysia, obviously Malaysia, I love Malaysia. On that note, it's not that easy to work with Malaysian company. They are way more close actually. So it takes more time to just get in the country, to make relationship and so on. It takes more time, but once you are in and all good. Indonesia, I'm also very bullish on that country. 300 million people. It's a huge country. They have a lot of resources. It's still the far west there. There is everything to be made. So yeah, Indonesia, love it. Big opportunity. Philippines. Hey, I've never been to Philippines actually. Never done business in Philippines. Even though the guy which is editing this video is from Philippines, and we've been working well together for a couple of years. All the people that I work with from the Philippines, they are good workers and so on. So I think the Philippines will do well, man. So, oh, and another thing, I'm starting to do some research about Chrome in Philippines. I have a few contacts there, so step by step, but we move very slow. We want to be careful, especially in a new country. But yeah, maybe in the future we'll do something with Chrome there. We'll see. All right, now, so north of Asia, so Japan. All right, so Japan. One thing with the Japanese companies, they are usually extremely trustworthy, but they are also extremely slow. Just to sell to a Japanese company, it takes like years and years and years. And one other thing is like they won't ever tell you like no. So it's tough to, sometimes it's tough to see exactly what is going on because they are very slow. But again, once you are in, you are in. They'll be your client for years and years and years. Even your son or your daughter, she could be like a supplier to the same Japanese company because this is how they work. And actually, it's quite refreshing because there is not a lot of place like this anymore. But then it takes a long time to build this relationship. South Korea. So this one is funny one. So South Korean is very different than Japan. And usually people, you know, especially if you are not from the region, you don't really see the difference. You're like, yeah, it should be the same. No. South Korea, be careful, man. They will screw you on contract. They will do all the dirty stuff, but people don't really know about that, about them. So yeah, but be careful, be careful. I'm not saying that those are bad people. I'm just saying that they are way less trustworthy than the Japanese counterparty. That's for sure. But again, South Korea, we did a bunch of business there for Meta. Everything went well, but again, we were always very cautious. Finally, yeah, China. So China, what can I say about China? I really do love actually China people. I think they are the hardest worker I've ever seen, and they have a tough life in China. Really, I mean, I don't think this is easy for them. So yeah, then, and one thing with China is like they don't use WhatsApp, they don't use Gmail and all those things. They have their own ecosystem with their own language, and sometimes the translation from one word to another is quite difficult. It's not easy to understand what's up there. Yeah, even though the population in China is now decreasing, and yeah, they will lose massive amount of population the next 50 years. This is still going to be a powerhouse in terms of commodities as they have all the factories. So we are talking about onshoring to the US and so on. Even EU wants to onshore factories, but let's be honest, it's almost impossible to build a factory in the EU, so it won't happen. In the US, onshoring is going to be very, very difficult. Maybe in the next 20 to 30 years with a lot of robotics, maybe, but all of that are very slow trends. So yeah, in the meantime, if you want anything done, it's going to be made in China and maybe in the future India. All right, man, that's pretty much it. I think this is a way too long video. I wanted to make more jokes and something like this, but honestly, I mean, it's better to do jokes when you speak with someone, then I can make something funny, but here we just have to talk about that. Anyway, so what is your experience with those countries? Let me know in the comment below. Do you agree with me? You don't agree with me? Which country you are really bullish on? So let me know in the comment. I will answer you, and yeah, ciao.